going to be. Because people don't like to believe something could be real or great because there is a lot of lies in this industry, and I know that, and I understand that part. But there's another part of it where you guys all have talked to me about it, and I agree with you that once Neo is full speed and he's got all the data and he's rocking and rolling, uh, he's gonna blow out a lot of these traders in their rooms, right? And so people that are just trying to make a buck by having a Discord are gonna become irrelevant. So and so what do you think they're gonna do when they see it? They're gonna try to discredit either me or Neo and his data, right? And so I'm expecting it. I don't really care. You guys know. So just don't, when you guys are kind of out there defending me, I appreciate it 100%. But just know it doesn't bother me at all. Like I almost actually expect it. So, I laugh about it. I'm like, oh, cool. And that's why you saw when I did the duet on Tory Trades thing is I was like, you're not really making it unless you got some haters, man. Because if you're not throwing up enough attention, doing the right things to get haters, then you're probably not throwing up enough attention. So,
Oh yeah, social media is full of angry people.
oh
I'm
yeah,
telling you, they will get angry. It don't matter what side you take.
oh
Every
yeah,
side has somebody who's going to come in there angry about it.
and and the fact of the matter is, guys, and we have 10 minutes. The area we are in is not great. So I'm not in a massive rush to jump into trade anyway. So we're just kind of chit chatting a little bit for those that are on the socials. But the fact of the matter is that there's a lot of distrust in this industry. You guys know I say that all the time, and I absolutely hate that. But just because there's a lot of distrust doesn't mean I need to open my entire financial portfolio to you, right? Like you want my bank account login just so you could trust me. Uh, and so there's other ways to build trust, which is not only showing what you can do, but doing the hey, I made 10K today, sweet. Let me slide it over. See, right? And that's what I do. I choose to do. I only care. The only people I care to prove myself to is those of you in here that choose to follow me. Um, uh, I don't really have much else to prove now outside of that. But my gray area that I'm torn with is my thing that I'm torn with is that there's part of me that wants to go, let me consistently start posting my profits, right? So people can see that, or the withdrawals, like the withdrawal I'm gonna take out today, right, for 3,600 from Lucid. I could post it, right, but this goes to where I don't want to. I'm trying to change things. I'm trying to be bigger than the problem in the industry and make it better. Um, but so I don't want to go down a path that I am now like, let me show you how much I made. Oh, I made 4 grand. I got $8,000 withdrawal. I got this 3,000. Like, I don't like that because I know there's one end of it that's like, well, it shows credibility and sales and all that. But then again, it goes down that path of misleading, right? I feel like because you guys know as well as I do, the moment I start doing that, then you're like, I want to make 6 grand too, right? I want to come in. He's gonna show me how to make 6 grand. I'll probably have it by the time my rent's due, and I'll be good, right? And it's just it just gives such a false premises of trading. So I'll find a balance on it. I love the funny part is, as you guys know, not that I don't want to go forever in this rabbit hole rant. Uh, the people that go, show me your month P&L, like people do realize that I could half the people that are on there showing you that shit likely took a screenshot of it and then told ChatGPT, hey, make it show where I made like 6K a day. And then I'm gonna put it up on my TikTok, and you guys all see what AI can do. Like, I don't believe images. Show me how you got it. I want to see your ass do that real time. Like everybody in here, or most people in here, watched me time and time again get to the 10K and get Pro Plus on Take Profit while I was live, and then I showed you the account, right? That's what I want to see. Like, you show me an image don't mean nothing. Like, damn, AI is damn crazy. Like, I don't try to hide it, but this is my phenomenal picture that I did right here. Like, oh yeah, I dressed up perfectly, guys. Not AI at all. Nope. Right?
You're fun. You're fun.
Right? Or what about the one I did with me and Neo high fiving? Oh yeah, that happened, guys. We met out in Hollywood somewhere. It was great. It just the only way to truly find trust and transparency in this industry is to watch people do it, watch people explain it, watch people um, not only just say like I'm not. I how many times I rarely sit here and go, oh, I made $8,000 today, and then not slide it over and go, see, that whole C is important to me, and many of you guys know why. But yeah. So, anyways, whatever. Again, there's so many things in the industry that I feel like I could talk about it forever, and we'll miss market open. So we'll go through, but like little fun of what's your win rate? Well, my win rate's 99.9, but boy, that last trade I lost it all. But I'm not going to tell you that because I'm 99.9. Those are just stupid questions. You guys got to understand it, but it's what we're ingrained to do, so it makes sense. Okay, I'm done with my rant. We got 5 minutes left. I will not be taking a trade out of gate on open. I probably will not be taking a lot of trades. It's kind of like I talked about the last few days, right? When you're, and we did this in class last night. We went over it pretty deep. If for those anybody who wants to watch that, not only in the development program, but those that are on TikTok that want to join, you can watch it as well. But you go to development videos, and I already have the video up there. And see how I title it now? I like this format better. I think you guys do too. But now you can actually find it, right? So in the development session, you have the sessions, which are our afternoons. Oh, no, I'm sorry. This is the actual coaching classes. And this is our afternoon trading. Now, afternoon session will probably just say afternoon session unless there's something very specific that I recall doing on that video. Then I'll title it. But like here, right? Remember, this is when we did the live trading with the tweet that Trump did. And then we did all-time high. So in the development program, this whole video, we went over how to trade an all-time high and what to look for and why you want to be cautious. So when you think about this, and again, I know market open's probably going to ding, ding, ding while I'm talking, but I have no intention of trading market open right out the gate. We're going to look and see what it does. So part of the entire logic that I have, which I also find is hilarious because I've seen multiple feed videos, like I told you guys I would, that is like, what is going on? I'm getting wrecked in my shorts. Why are we going up so high? I'm told it's only because of the war. I'm told because it's whatever. And one guy, the only person that I decided to comment on was like, little smarter, sounded smarter, like he knew what he was doing. And he was just like on a rant. Like, this is all propaganda. It's all designed, blah, blah, blah. There's no structural support to support this dramatic of a move. There's no way somebody could have known this is going to be a dramatic move. I feel like I want to go back in my videos that I have in my Google Drive and find the one that I like, because there's a lot, because I talked about it since like here that this was coming. And I don't blame a lot of people because it's not something you can find in Google, right? And YouTube. These are the YouTube people who learn and the people who just read the books and then like I know how to trade. They don't know how to see these things, right? And we saw this play out last night, even, right? Right? Like Cody, I know you've been watching it lately. Like it plays out more times than you probably thought, or some of you.
Yeah, that exact pattern we've seen like 3 times in the last couple days.
And it's done the same thing. Boom, bluffed up. And it's one of the bigger retail traps because this is bearish. This is. I will never argue that. That is a bearish structure, right? But something about how it leads to that bearish structure. Now, not all rounded tops, style tops do that. but it's more the prelude to it, right? That I look, and so it's even kind of harder to explain because there's a lot of things that have to line up, right? Where I'm like, this is gonna happen. So part of this, guys, we've been calling for some time. I'm not going to take the credit of how fast it got there because I assumed that we would break here. I was good with that. I was good with the chop. I thought we would consolidate a little more in here than we did. Possibly even pull for a retest before we went. Didn't even get the retest, but y'all know that that shows more strength, not less. The secondary push, I thought we would top out somewhere here, right? The 027, hold that range a little bit, maybe pull back because we've done it many times in here, and then we would go. So I'm not going to pretend that I knew we would just go straight like this, but those that have been watching it do that this week know I've been going. Well, let me ask you guys, what have I been saying not to do once we broke a certain couple levels? What don't you do?
Don't short the top.
Don't short a top. Because this thing could go. I'm sure maybe some of y'all did it. I mean, there's a couple of evals I've done it on too, that just because they're evals, right? But not on your pros funded, like important ones, right? So when we're up here, I'm not going to do it all because we're ding ding ding. We're going to go look and see what the market's doing. It's interesting. It's not really swinging like crazy. But this top area becomes very critical. Very critical. And what that means to the blow off top. Now, if you recall on the 15-second, remember when we had this happen the first time on the 15-second, and I was like, oh, guys, I'm like, look at this. And that one was like damn near spot on. And we pushed just past it, and then we lost the top. And I was like, I don't think that's the blow off top. That's not the blow off top that I was thinking about. And so as it lost the top, it found support early, which is probably going to be what happens here at some point. And that's where we'll consolidate a second. Then it will push on the secondary or possibly the third try, because you guys know from the class how that works. That's going to be the true blow off top. That's the one that's going to really go, right? This is kind of the setup. This is kind of the trap, I think. I am not interested in longing up here whatsoever, and those who have been following me for a bit know that I've been saying I'm mostly long all the way through here. I will not take a long up here. No chance. So what am I going to look for? All we can do is go into our lower time frames, right? And I want to look and see how it's respecting certain things. So if you guys recall, and I don't want to go deep into it because I don't want to go back to the 1 hour time frame. When we were doing measured moves, right, it was like here, I think. Wednesday. No, it was back here, right? Because it was yesterday's pre-market, I think, when we did it. Remember the measured move went up here, and I was like, oh, that's pretty close to up here. And it was somewhere around 26.5. And so, do you guys recall when I said, I'll bet you 26.5 is going to be pretty staunch. It might be what pulls us back because the market just doesn't like round numbers. It doesn't like those numbers. It just never has, never does. And so, it's pretty cool that we got pretty close, 487, because we kind of talked about that yesterday pre-market, which was, shoot, we were all the way down here actually, right, through the pre-market when we talked about it, right? And so for it to go all the way up like it did yesterday and then get within, just a few bucks of the 500, what was our actual high right there? Yeah, 87 or so. It's pretty cool. All right, not bad. So what does this all mean now? If you look at it here, like this, we ended up topping out, boom, 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 boom. Came down, there's the retest on that neckline right there. Not really there. It dropped us. Came down, you guys know from the class, the push and this kind of pull usually creates a lower low, pretty often, Now this wasn't a very significant lower low, but it still was lower low. This is not perfect because it's just parabolic, but does it look familiar? Up, down, up, some support, into a rounded top. Just kidding, we're going up. I can't tell you how many feeds I was on last night because I was up really late as this was forming, and they're like, oh yeah, rounded top, we going down, this thing's going to the floor, I'm going to leave it short in all night long, you know, because it is. It's around, I mean, this is a bearish ass pattern, right? But this thing plays out so often, right? There's a lot of things you could look at to make sure it plays out, but just like we did on the high time frame, you can take even something as simple as a trend line, right, to invalidate it. Because if you recall, those that are in the development program, when we talked about patterns, there's two patterns. And this is where retail messes up, because when you're on the retail thinking, right, YouTube style book, you know, whatever, they teach you how a pattern should play out, but they don't teach you what a pattern looks like when it's not going to play out. A pattern invalidation tends to move about as far as what the pattern validation planned on moving. Pretty close, usually. So if you take the bottom into the top, right, and then we would take the kind of neckline-ish, roughly, right, where it would have broke, something like that. Notice how it would have pulled down into this range, which the first move of the rounded top is to move back down into that type of range. So it's pretty close. So that's why you see invalidations and you freak out, because it's also why when you see this and you're in a bearish position or a short position, it's either your volume needs to be enough to withstand some stuff like this, or you might want to stop out, right, if that pattern invalidates. Because if it's a small one, sure, but if it's one that can go pretty far, which this one I would probably do a first level there, maybe here, and then this would be my low. And so that equal of what it would be to validate would be what it would be to invalidate, right? And so that's why we get that. But I don't want to go deep in that because I know more class. Guys, I know the market's dropping. I'm not surprised, right, based on what we're saying and what I'm about to tell you. So we can definitely go a lot farther. If we break this low, we're going to try to look at testing that low. We'll pull up some indicators, guys, but I fully expect, as you guys know, if we break the first Ganfan trend line and we get the low and we hold as a resistance, it's almost certain we're coming to this one, right? Almost certain. So we're still within the 45 minutes, so we'll have to see if this is swing high, swing low, if it gets reclaimed. But since we swung high and we're swinging low, if we break this low here, it's going to sweep pretty deep. If we happen to come up, but we can't reclaim that trend line or this high or even these highs, that next pull is going to just be nasty. I told y'all for the last few days, do not take shorts. I'm going to tell y'all right now, do not take longs. You likely should be short all day today, but you just need to be very patient, right? Because this could drop, hit this, bounce pretty hard, and then drop again, right? So you don't want to get caught in those big bounces or you're going to get pretty destroyed. Where a lot of people make mistakes, and I've done this too, you see this just massive OA and you take your short and you're like, oh yeah, I'm riding that down to here, right? And it could go straight there. That's only $300, a little over. It's possible. So what matters today when you're trading the most? What matters the most is going to be the prior all-time high line that we have marked, which is the 26,399. That is an absolutely massive line. You can see it's kind of holding some validity in here, right? Tried to hold support, lost it, came up, held it, lost it a little, came up, swept. I marked this one because there was a sweep wick here, and I have pretty good tops there, held pretty good support there, into pretty good tops there, right? I actually put this line here, like right there. So it was really cool to see it kind of play out. If you notice, I'm using purple lines up here, kind of like this little kind of light, more lavender, I guess, if you will. I'll probably keep using those up here until I get down into my yellow ones, right? Because these are just very It's only built off of this, guys. There's no back data. There's nothing for me to go backwards and say, oh, I put it because of this. So, all right, gotta love it. Let me log into something really fast, and then I'm gonna continue on. And guys, if you have questions along the way, you can put your hand up. Again, I'm not quickly eager to jump into a trade. Anyways, I'm gonna load up a couple accounts that I don't mind doing with this. So let me just make sure my TP is on, just in case I see something. I don't mind taking it with these ones. Other than that, I'm mostly done for today anyways. But why this line is critical. What we teach, what I teach in the mentor group, what I teach in even the development, right? This is a high time frame play that we're dealing with. We're just looking at it on a lower time frame. So when we have a breakout and then we begin to hold resistance on the high, right, which if we went high time frame, it'd be way over there, that we measured before, something significant, even if it's just a high, right? But this one is a really significant high because it was prior all-time high that we were measuring. And so when you have something that significant, right, how it acts on it is huge. So if this tries to hold support, we sweep wick, right, then we pull, and then this starts to act as resistance. Or because we're still setting our ORB, let's say we come up and we breach, but then we can't, this one couldn't breach that high. Well, the next push can't breach that high. That's showing weakness, and it's likely going to collapse. Now, notice this high did not create the high. This low created a slight low, but we also reclaimed it. And so we don't really know yet if this is a bear trap, right, that's setting up a great short, or, or is it a great short or is it a bear trap? Because when you create this low here and we have this many times that we've hit it and we've reclaimed it, it tends to come back pretty violent the other way, right? And so we really just don't know quite yet. Now, what we do know is 399.50 and this trend line are very viable, very viable. And if they continuously reject, which you can see how they're doing it here, right? If they continuously reject, this thing is going to drop pretty far, right? Pretty good. So again, keep your volume low if you're trading. I'm not going to take many trades, if any at all. I might. Let's put the indicators on it and see what we got going on. I've messed around a lot, so let me make sure. 5 minute, 1 minute, 15 second. Our trap one is good. Okay, we have a trap price area here. This is way back here. Way back, right? So if we breach that, guys, that's likely going to be your big fall. So 35. Our 5 minute call the trap up there. Love it. Even when you wicked in there, it dropped. So that's awesome. Another thing that we can look at here, we know we have the trend line, we know we have the 200, we know we have 399. 399 is going to be more critical than all of those. So I'm going to put it kind of wide. Maybe not that wide. We'll go like 3. Yeah. We'll go like that. I'm actually going to make this one a different color. I'm going to do, I think I did it dark purple. Or darker. Kind of like that. Yeah, like that. Because this one's a big one, right? And if you're not sure what they are, guys, you can always click text. And you can put in like ATH, right? Something like that. Like something to just tell you what it was. Now, if you want to be, so I don't get called out on TikTok, that's not the all-time high anymore. Probably still will anyways, but it's okay. I don't care. I don't like it that big. I'm going to make it like 14. All right, so now you can label it like that. I don't know if you guys knew how to do that. When you label it also, you can move where it is. I do mine top and right. That's what I like. So now I know that that's that. This is significant. Anything below this, you do not want to be long. Because let me tell you, Lord, it is a long way down. We are damn standing on a cliff. Right? I mean, it is just, Got it, y'all. Even for a halfway reclaim, it's all the way down to 26,197. For us to come down to retest the structure that broke us in the first place here, um, you're looking at like 300 and something dollars down, right? 350, 330, and so it's just a long way down. Now, this is why I really hate this range. And that's is why, even though you're seeing us get lower lows, you're seeing this pressure, I'm not quick to go, I'm in this short. Because it's not that simple of an area, right? We have been absolutely massively bullish, which means the buyers are not showing gone yet. They could kick in at any time and go, we still good, like, right? Set up the bear trap and just shoot us. We have the prior all-time high we can look at. We have the trend line we can look at. We have a lot of things that we're below. But you guys also know a big thing on my end is I do not take shorts above a prior day high. I do not take shorts anywhere in my red area here that is inside the range of this. I just don't do it. Because I have found more times than not, you'll get a close. I used to be that person that would say, got my close in there, sweet, I'm short, and then it just, like, it might sweep it and then jump, and you're like, what? And then it just goes to the mid, right? It's just sets you up in a bear trap, because that's a normal thing a lot of people do. So, man, they hit that hard, don't they, Brent, with the join my Telegram, like, those bot spammers go crazy. Anybody watching on TikTok and all the people in the room know, please don't click that stuff. You will likely find out that your money's missing in a few days after you do. So
yeah, I've already done the block and everything on like 3 today.
Oh, they're coming in hot, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's because of probably because of the all-time high. Maybe viewers are up. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll keep on going on that, but look at it too. I always find TikTok to be fascinating, right? The algorithm, because you guys know the way my mind works. How is it this says I only have 7 people in here, but it's like join, 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 join. And I know people scroll and all that, but there's something with their algo, man, because like I'll have people like it shows names in here. I'll have people asking questions that aren't even on this list. So I'm like, is this a true number? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I know you know a lot about it, but
Yeah, I do think you have been suppressed lately. Maybe it was because of that post you referenced about you being next to Neo or something. But yeah, I mean, last week we were at 200 people, and this week it's like 7, 8, 10,
we
12.
were up at like 580 like for a bit, like, and yeah, now it's like, but that's where I get confused because again, like, there's a million people in here that will talk of all the joins, and then it shows 8 people. Like, it's just like I'll see like join now go off like 10 times, and then it goes down a person, and I'm like, what? So I don't know. Anyways, maybe I'll look up more on that and figure out what's going on. But yeah, something definitely got suppressed. I don't know why. Good old TikTok. Anyways, back on this. So you guys see where it's a tricky area, and I'm rightful and the thoughts of that, because look at this indecision. Have y'all seen indecision like this? Like, I mean, insane indecision right now. The best thing we can do here is we have a low and we have a high of doji. That's the best I can give you, right? If we push up here, breach wick, close above, we're likely going to push pretty good. At least back up to the ORB. We might even break this. If we get a close below this doji, then we're likely going to fall. Now, I'm kind of okay with taking a short if I can close somewhere here that's not like a straight piss candle, right? Because if you take my trap, that would invalidate all those traps, right? Not invalidate, they're already validated, but it would invalidate the area. There's literally nothing to like there. So I got OA. We are coming out of a macro trap area anyways, so I'm good with that. It looks like it would invalidate my confluence area of support, which we're in right now. Next level of confluence resistance is up here, which also coincides with 382. So there could be a chance that they set up a bear trap with a sweep back up here, and then this could set up a really good short back to the line. So we'll see. And I'm going to get to where we break down to how do we know, right? So a lot of, like, if Neo was going right, he'd be like a lot of upward bumping our head kind of stuff going on. But there's also showing a lot of signs of support, right? Now, this is our prior day high. We are just disrespecting the absolute shit out of this. Oh, you guys see this too? I don't really look for this pattern a lot, but do you guys know what pattern this is? Anybody?
The old diamond pattern.
The old diamond, right? So those diamond patterns are pretty violent when they do break. So you can kind of identify your trend lines, right? They can go up or down within it, but when they do break, they're pretty good. So I don't look for those a lot, but every now and then when I see one like super clear, I'm a firm believer that if you look hard enough, you can identify any pattern, right? But so I don't like to look deeply for that one. This is not my normal play, but a lot of times when you have this pull into the diamond pattern, it tends to want to play more this way than this way, but usually. So we know that we're trying to act resistance here on the 5-minute 200 EMA. Tons of resistance there. Tons of resistance there.
You do not want to be trading. You don't want to be in on this.
Hey Duff, if you could mute it, man. I don't mind you listening to his room and me. That's cool, but I don't want to hear that, and I know you know why. So please keep it on mute or one or the other.
I'm sorry, I tried to mute you. I'm sorry.
I know. It's just, and I you guys know me. I don't care who listens to what. I have no issues with that, but you're gonna get very confused. I promise you, because the directives are gonna be very different. So, anyways, but you do you. So as we're going through here, right, we got that, like we said there. This is my red area. As we close below here, right, that's likely going to be your free fall. It's pretty dangerous in here till we see certain things, right? Now, what we can do is, what I want to do for me, as I'm studying the area, is I want to look at things like the indicators, right? So we have a sell here, we have a sell there, we have a sell here. All these are sells. So I have no interest in buying when my indicators are all throwing sells, right? On that. Now, again, this is a very dangerous area because a lot of times in these all-time high plays, they'll set up a trap and then jump, right? And I don't know that that's going to happen because the way this is looking, it looks like it wants to just collapse, right? So as this pushes, here's your area. This is the moment of truth right here. See that? It's almost perfect to it. If we breach this, guys, it's a pretty good fall down, right? So, but this is that area. Remember, also on my box, remember my $50 calculation? It's pretty good usually. And see how we're starting to bounce a little bit? So I would love, preferably, for us to get a breach wick close below, and I'm good with taking it short. Now here's my thing, guys. While you're entering your volume and you're choosing, you might have to fight this up here if we get a bear trap. So you don't want to enter a short that you don't have the volume to fight, right? So be careful. So I will likely not look for a big run. I'm going to look for just my TP levels, right, that I'm doing. So as we're starting to break out here, let's watch it. We just cleared our confluence on the bottom. We have nothing really stopping. All of our traps just got invalidated with that move. Let's just watch the micro and see if we stay out of this box. As we're here, if we get any kind of doji close and a reclaim of this low, 46, that is going to be the trap. And then it would hit that, and then we're going to jump pretty good. As long as we stay below that, it's going to keep going. So when you're looking at setting a stop, if you're already in this trailing it, something above 45 or 46 would be good to start with. If you want to get a bigger run out of it, because it's pretty OA, then you want to give it a candle or two back, right? Now, if you get a big old candle, you might want to just to that candle because you don't want to give up a lot of profit, especially if you're intraday, right? If you're intraday, you really don't want to do it. So looking at that, so you can see we're pulling. So indicators set up really well. That set up really well. Notice how we got remember what I was telling you on the diamond pattern? They typically are more continuation, and so that's what we're getting. If you take from there to there, here to there, we're getting pretty measured move, but we're also in OA, right, kind of area. So any kind of deep bounces here would be a little bit suspect, right? Because until we get to here, I'm not opposed to it if it's somewhere around here, 253, just because that's that prior high. So I want to put that right there. Yeah, right there. So this would be an area of possible bounce. Be careful as you're trying to short that. Anybody in the short still trailing it? Played out pretty well so far with the diamond.
I already hit my goal with 1 MNQ today.
Yeah. Yeah, the count that I just jumped on this one, I'm up 300, and I was only doing like 2 MNQ. So just be careful, because 252 we can bounce, right? So let me look at that. So I want to watch the DOM. Remember, we want to watch the DOM. If we're not getting any landmine kind of style jumps, right, it's likely going to keep going down. See how we got a little jump? So let's revert to the micro and see if we can see anything that gives any kind of something to watch. I don't really like the angle of it, right, but that's about all you can do right now for a trend line until you get a bounce. Until then, we just down. So I would suspect that we will come into here, likely bounce a little bit, maybe even pretty good. I don't know, guys. Here's the deal. This is our head and shoulder formation, or a bearish style formation, right? Kind of got your shoulder, head, shoulder. This was our neckline hold forever. And we're collapsing, right? I mean, those can go freaking deep. Like, we were way oversold on, or bought on our 1 hour time frame, right? But see how the buyers are trying to come in? When the buyers come in, I'm okay with them pushing up anywhere into here, but I would prefer it would show me more strength, right? If they stay below 344, that would show me more strength. If it goes through it, it's fine as long as it stays under all of this, and then a doji close below, and then out of the box you would take the next one. I want to see, because I'm pretty confident this calculation's been pretty staunch, right? That we would push up, and if it hits this and just drops, love that $50 box calculation. So let me look at something. So we're starting to pull down. We got the doji close below there, should sweep that with the lower low. If it sweeps it higher low and we get a DOM bounce anywhere from there up, buyers are coming in, right? Be careful. And remember I talked about either you're laddering, or if you're singular entry, you need to wait for some kind of pullback and then doji confirmation and then pull, right? So let's keep an eye on the traps just to see if we get anything. I don't see anything yet on that. I still think we're going to get to 252 at some point. We also have the POC at 199. If you look at the visible range here, guys, this is just such a wide pocket in there. Oh, it aired out on me. That's the first time I've seen that air out on me, Paul. Why did I do it right when I decided to show it? I wonder if it's because I clicked on it or something. I don't know. If anything ever errors, guys, use change time frames. But these pockets usually are pretty important, right? So likelihood of us coming down to here or here is pretty good. If we bounce there at that 254, that makes sense to me. If we breach that with any kind of steam, guys, I think this is going to blow through this POC. Like, I don't think it's going to even hold that, right? But we got to watch the micro, because the micro should be doing things if it should be bearish, right? If we're going to be bearish, so we got to push, kind of indecision. We got the resell. We're closing through. Remember, I would not take any longs in here anyways. So just please don't. If you are a micro scalper, you know what to do, then you could take them, but just manage your risk, right? I've told everybody when these are both sell, right, sell like that, I don't like to go long, because there's nothing, even at the micro level, telling me to go long. I have a buy there, which would have got out, from the 5. I don't have a sell yet on my 5. We do have BOS. There's just nothing holding this, guys. This is crazy. There's just nothing. I have nothing holding this on any of my stuff. Look at this. All the way here. All the way here. So if this thing just goes up, guys, I don't know. It might be a trap. We'll see. But anyway, so when you're doing these shorts, me, like the ones that I'm doing, I'm more laddering with it, because I don't mind capturing a low volume big move. I'm totally good with the low volume big move. I don't need a high volume, short move, when I know that if this all collapses, it can go really far down. So let's not also ignore the fact that this is our push. Halfway liquidity is pretty close to in here. So somewhere between 210 and 250, we could definitely bounce, right? Or it could break through and just collapse, right? So you guys know that this is the biggest bearish pressure we've seen in like week. So they're definitely trying to respect that high. Now, this is starting to tell us some of a story, because we are getting a lot of bullish pressure. It's there, but it's not pushing it through critical levels yet, right? And see, we're getting another one, which is confirming that the bullish pressure is not there. And so we also have kind of a pull, kind of forming a little bull flag, right? Supporting it should come down. If we get a close below this low, that should create a pretty deep lower low. If we stay below that low, it's going to fall pretty good. Now we know that we have 52 is a pretty decent possible sort. I don't know that I would say it's decent or even good. It just is the prior high right there, right? That's all I'm basing it off of. And so a lot of times in that prior high, it can bounce pretty well. That would also be, I'm not going to measure it, but pretty close to our halfway liquidity reclaim. So there is a possibility somewhere in here that we can go more northern, right? I'm not seeing that on the DOM yet. I'm not even seeing that on the micro yet. But we also, even if we stay in trend line, right, we can get all the way up to here and still be within trend line, within resistance, within prior daily high. Like, a lot of times if there's too many people short, they're going to stop hunt it, or they're going to set up a kind of a bull play with momentum, bait some longs, and then drop it on them again, right? That's what they like to do. So let's just keep watching the micro. It's funny, when I was flipping through some TikToks, of one person popped up, and he's like, if you're trading on the 1 hour, and the 1 hour don't give you a reason, or I think he said 4 hour, to look at the 15 minute, or the 15 minute don't give you a reason to look at the one, like, why are you looking at lower time frames? Why do you want to see all that noise, right? Like, and he was so serious. He's like, why do you want to see all that noise? It makes no sense. You don't need to see all that noise yet. And I'm like, And so I kind of just threw a comment in there going, lower time frames are going to tell you earlier signs of what the higher time frames are going to do. It is really actually important. Now, the reason why a lot of people, retail traders, don't think it's important is because when they look at the lower time frames, it gives them anxiety, because they don't understand how to read the candles and the progressions and what they're doing. They just see a whole lot of messy stuff and go, I would just rather see one candle like this that is bearish, and I'm just bearish. But as you guys know, how do I know this is going to stay bearish or going to reverse? You can't really tell here until the candle closes. Sometimes you can tell here, right? I can see dojis. I got hammers building a little compression. Come to the micro, do the same thing, right? I got some indicators. Where's my sweeps? Where's my dojis? Are we having dojis where they're supposed to be? Are we having hammers where they're supposed to be? If I believe this is resistance because of the prior low, and I'm coming up here and I'm hammer, 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 this is about to hammer, guys. Right? If the 5 minute is about to do it, then eventually the 15 is about to do it. Right? Like it just knowing what the lower time frames do helps you prepare for what the higher time frames might be about to do. So as we're pushing up here, we got this push coming through. We got the doji there. We are getting a little wicky, but we are kind of creating sort of higher lows into a resistance here. Even if it breaches in, I love the fact, isn't it cool, guys, how after such a possible nasty drop, we hit 2 times on a box that is just a specific static number. Isn't that cool? It might break in, right? It's not a calculation of resistance, right? But so we're starting to get some buy pressure coming in. We did end up getting the higher low, the break above the dojis. This should have enough steam to breach wick this. Anything short of a breach wick, if it stops here or here or here, it's likely going to fail, right? Because of the structure, it should have enough to breach wick it. Again, anything short of that is likely going to fail, right? Now, we also have a hammer, so that's with a close above, that supports that theory. This is now a hammer, but we need a close above to come up here. We have a gap fill, and we have the 5-minute Lisma at 379. 379 would put us like here, right? That's going to be a very critical level for me, because if we do happen to have strength to get to there, right, the breach wick here, close above, would be our open air, right? So we don't want to short anything above this line, guys. Do not short that. If you're in a short, like I have some that I'm fine with laddering, low volume, I don't mind fighting the short a little bit, because I can fight it pretty far with what I'm doing. But if you're not, or you're on an eval or something that doesn't have a lot of wiggle room, if you will, you might not want to fight that. You might want to just try to stop out of it. So, but let's see how it goes. We got some good confluence within here. We do have, again, it's pretty easy to see that kind of like micro compression. We are closing above that. The key area is going to be here, like that kind of 46 area right there. If we don't breach wick this into that 46, now mind you, if it breaches in and it pulls back, I'm cool with that, because that still shows that there's enough momentum to push it where it needed to be. That's just a rear back, and then it's going to try again. Like right now, this is a very critical spot. Watch the DOM, because if our DOM pressure, see how we got a little breach wick. If our DOM pressure starts to go more southern, not northern, then it's just a retest, and we're going to go back down. If our DOM pressure is still jumping northern, which it is a little, but it's minute from what I can see, it really shouldn't do that if we're in a free-for-all about to fall to the floor, right? So you guys all know that here's our low. We got the breach wick. It typically likes to pull back, then try again. If we just go straight, that's strength, guys, and it's coming all the way back up here likely, or at least to the prior day. We're below all of our moving averages that we have available, right there in this area. So it's got a little bit of room to go. So as it pushes up, not only these averages, but this prior day high is critical resistance. And so if it blows right through that like it ain't even trying, then it's likely not as strong as a bearish push as we all thought, right? So this next kind of push for me is going to be very critical on it. So let me look and see something. Yeah, see how we're getting the DOM? I was looking at that. So now we have the breach wick, close above. We still got some strength. There's a breach wick, close above there. Should have enough to breach wick that. Any of those fail below this prior day, we're going to see a little bit of a sweep. So now here's where it gets really tricky, and this is why I told you all this range is very tricky to trade. Anything below all this, right, we're still bearish. This is just like Neo would tell you, this is a little pullback within the greater movement, right? How it acts is what tells us everything. If this is our prior high, if this stays here and we keep jumping, that's strength, that's strong, it's going. If we break into here and then we bounce and we reclaim that, that's somewhat strength, bullish, right? But it's not crazy. If we breach this low without even trying, now we just set up a bull trap, right? That is likely going to fail pretty hard. So let's watch it and see. I'm really watching to this hammer here. We did clear that gap fill. A close above that in 30 seconds would be more bullish. Now, notice how it's kind of like a hammer into an inverted hammer. That I kind of treat more internal, like a range, right? So you got low, you got the high. So that's what I would kind of watch, wherever that high ends up, right? So, which it looks like it's pretty much that candle. So watch how this is going. Watch how the DOM is, how it's bouncing. If this thing wants to go, right, you guys can see kind of this structure that broke, held, and that's what shot us. We have a lot of strength because we breached that without problem. We breached that without problem. So there's definitely strength there. We're trying to hold support on the Lisma, on the micro. We're kind of even trying to bull flag. That bull flag should pop, create a breach wick. That wick should be enough to push a higher high. Then I'm okay with the rear back, close above, and then it would go. I'm looking for what it should do, because when it doesn't do that, that shows me weakness in a direction, right? So we have the breakout on the bull flag, kind of played out on the micro level, but we did not create the higher high. So if this starts to collapse, it's going to collapse pretty deep, because then it flips from a bull flag to a double top, if you will. So let's wait and see. Now we know there's a lot of area in here that we can definitely reclaim. We know that this is the 5-minute Lisma. That's going to be critical. If we breach wick that and close above, like, whoo, buddy, they just set the nastiest bear trap ever, right? Because there's people, I promise you, that we're trying to take this all the way down here. There'll be a lot of TikTok people that probably are live right now that are like, come on, drop, because they don't watch the lower levels, right? And so, and then, man, I watched somebody in live, they were up like almost $4,000, let it go all the way back, not only to break even, but to stop, and then lost 2,300. And they're like, oh man, you know, guys, it's all good, man, it happens, losing's part of trading. I'm like, you were up $4,000, like, you didn't lose that at all. like you gave that up. Like, I mean, you know, like, giving up a little bit to let it run, like, you know, it's different, right? But when you twice of what you just had your stop loss at, and then you say it happens, like, you did not trail that properly. Got the touch here. We're pushing. We're getting a lot of dojis in an area. I'm okay with dojis because it's just trying to decide, is this resistance or is it gonna flip, right? If these were hammers, I'd be more concerned. But if we get a close there, it's gonna likely pull there, which is still within the trend, right? I would need this trend line to be invalidated, right? I'm gonna keep it there, because if this happens to come down, breach wick there, close, then it's gonna that dump's gonna really dump, right? We are getting our buy here, so that's going to be your first, like, I might want to pause on taking the shorts, right? Kind of setup. And so we're getting a little momentum, so it's starting to go up. There's a nice little push. How this push treats is everything. Guys, so let's watch it. If this rejects here, because it's a lot of resistance plus prior day, it's going to be a deep rejection. Notice how we saw the strength, right? We reclaimed that, pushed up, breach wick, push, pull back into a bull flag. We didn't create a higher high there, but it kind of dojied for a bit, and then we pushed and got the close. That close above should be enough to breach wick through all of that. And so far it hasn't, right? We do have 200 here. We do have prior all-time high there. You know, like, there's a lot of resistance up here. But to me, this is getting a good amount of strength for something that was supposed to fall to the floor, right? And so let's just keep an eye on it. Now we got the breach wick. That is, remember what I was saying, right? This structure should have enough to breach wick that. Now we have a rear back. If the rear back stays above these highs, it's going to go up and complete it. We break through those highs, then it is more of a stop hunt, and likely the next move would be pretty far, right down. So let's keep an eye on it and watch. Guys, if you're on TikTok too and you want to come into the room, we trade live for free. You don't have to be on TikTok if you're able to. So you just go over here, click on open session. If you refresh it, it's going to be green. Click on it, and you can just join right there. So, and I'll go over more of that stuff once we're done here. What time is it? 10:14. We still got time. Still got some time. Let me look at something. Okay. All right. See how it's looking more stop hunt so far. So on the stop hunt, we pulled back. We got a breach wick close below there. Should sweep into there. That should not really. It should breach here into the trend and then have an absorption if it wants to really go. If we breach into the trend and pass the trend, and then we pull back, it's going to be a pretty good pull, right? So let's watch it and see. So as of right now, right, we're trying to just decide, does it want to hold this EMA and these prior highs? That's what it's trying to decide. So you can watch the DOM. Are you getting bounces? You getting drops? Again, you know, this could fall here and still bounce. But anything in here needs a pretty deep absorption for me. Right. So the DOM's trying to come in still. Let's just watch. It's just perching right here on the 200. So are most of you watching, or has anybody been doing trades? You guys green with this? You guys want to put thumbs up? Green? Good deal. Good deal. I'm gonna tell you y'all, this this is not an easy thing to navigate through these waters, because my mind is going bananas on possibilities of this. If this thing fails to reclaim these lows, right, and this 200, and we come back and reclaim those lows, man, that drop is going to be, and we'll come back, that's when we'll hit that pretty hard. Because of some lows that we reclaim, like if we hold above that area there, which is where it's trying to hold, and we come up and we breach wick again, and then it's going to go pretty high up there, right? And the funny part is this is all within the trend line, so we could get all the way to there and still be within the trend line on the prior highs and just floor. Right, so this is a tricky one, man. I'll tell you guys, when I talked about it in the development class last night, but these are those days I usually don't trade a ton. I'll do some, and most of my stuff is pretty quick TP. I think that there will be a big pull, but I don't think it's going to happen as quick as people think, because they got to trap people. Because I promise you, everybody and their mama is looking at this thing going, we on a cliff. I mean, look at this thing. It's ridiculous, right? Ridiculous. And for those who don't know, I have a self-proclaimed pattern. These are the knuckles. This is the finger, right? It was beginning to build the old FU pattern. It's not a thing. Don't look it up, please. Look at this. See how we're head and shoulder with a good sweep wick. Remember, that's the sweep wick of the absorption. That's what, remember, we look for in the class. Got the close below. That should push us, right? This is a moment of truth. If we breach this, that was the bull trap I was telling you that was probably setting up. If we can breach that. So let's watch. We've already broken back below some pretty key areas. So again, 45 is going to just be anywhere in here, really. I mean, you could probably argue like 58, something like that, because that's where it really stuck here before it collapsed. Anything in here can still bounce pretty heavily, guys, but if it breaks in deep, which it looks like it wants to because of the DOM, the way it's suggesting it, which I'm just looking at in the corner of my eye. So, hold on. One of the ones I'm laddering that triggered and then hit my TV, because I'm using the ATM on it, so that one was, I'm not much, guys, like 3 to 5 MNQ, and that was like 300 on that one. But we got the breach wick. Close below there is going to be a complete collapse of that. Now, it should, because we have a pretty bearish pattern with a pretty good stop hunt, right? below a pretty good prior day high, below a 200, below a prior all-time high. I mean, everything in the world is some of the biggest liquidity of resistance above, right? So that would be the best time for these bearish patterns to play out. But the problem is until we get that breach closed below, we have not confirmed it. We are still trending down, breakout, push, retest. We could push again, right? So we got to watch the DOM and things. Remember, guys, in a day like today, and I'm going to say this again because I say it all the time, but I know some of y'all don't listen. The more you win, the less you trade. The more you win, the lower you do your volume, right? That's how you treat today. So if you are doing 3 MNQ and you get a good enough amount of wins in there, right? Go to 2. Go to 1. Do a defensive play, right? Maybe you do 1 here to capture a big move, and then you play defensive if it goes up, right? You want to lower it. So, but we looks like I said, we look like we want to try to collapse a little bit. Remember, on the 1 minute, we never got a buy signal. Still to this point, we got some here on the micro, which played out really well, right, within them. But now we're back to trying to populate a sell. Now we're still not out of the woods because you can see we still are bouncing like crazy. Any kind of push here would be a try at a double bottom. Now, we know we have a bearish pattern here that has already kind of played out, right? It's already played out on the body. So we know a bearish pattern has played out where it's supposed to. For this to play out, it's a reversal. So a drop, push, drop to create a lower, any kind of lower high still means this is in play, right? So we don't want to be long on those yet. And so again, I would not take longs up here, guys. Until, like, if you want to take longs, it would be in this area. All right, you would want to look at OA above all those key levels right here. So that's the only place that I would consider going long if I did. But yeah, like we talked about deeply in the development class, guys, this is one of the harder times to do TA. Because the top and bottom trader in me wants to prepare for this to fall to the floor. But the way I trade, I see we're not quite as bearish as people think we should be right now. Now we have the trap call, so that's good, right? That actually almost played out. I didn't see when it called it, but probably like right there. So anything that stays below that trap area, 370, is definitely going to run the risk of dropping pretty far because those are usually pretty good. If we breach that 370 with any kind of violence, right, then we identified a trap. It kind of played out a little. We went from 38 to 15. It's a decent, pull. So it's already sort of could be played out, right? But we know anything below these trap levels usually pretty staunch. They end up creating like pretty good lower lows. So let me see something. So we're trying to push on that double bottom. I don't know that it's gonna hold. That's why I'm trying to watch. I want to watch the DOM. Any questions, guys, while we go? I'm gonna look at the DOM for a second because I really want to see if the pressure is where it should be. It's pretty balanced right now, but we're getting more drops than pumps so far. It's a tug of war. Okay, see again, they're not big though. It's like a tug of war and then it just kind of slides, right? It's not like like teleport, like a drop, but it's definitely a little minute slide going on. So rejecting off of there, we are in our downtrend. That was off of a trend. Pull, we're in the sell. That looks like it wants to pull down, so that's good. Looking good. See how notice how when I was telling you they're more down than up, right? That's kind of what I was seeing in there. So we did get another sell here. Preferably, I would like to, arguably you got the close, I guess, below the wick there. Close below there would be a little safer, but we did get the sell there, so that's interesting. It does support the trap. We are below Lisma. We did break our little structure there, and we do have a micro, and we are losing our box again. The only thing we really have holding it up at all is this trend line. So we collapse that thing, it's going to drop, right? But if we get any kind of decent bounce here, then the micro trend line's pretty staunch. So we did get an adjusted POC. You see that? Because now we have enough data in this range for this indicator to recalculate. So now our POC it's identifying is 346, so that's a good number to watch. If we stay below that, right, we have a nasty pocket here. Like 209 or so. 196, somewhere in there. We're getting hammers here that it really shouldn't be there, but I'm not worried about them unless they come up and breach this. Then it's going to come up pretty harsh. But because we do have this absorption into a hammer. This next one or two will make a big difference. If we close below there, it's going to drop. If we close above kind of here, we're going to push up pretty good. So then I just go back to looking at the DOM. Where's my pressure? That's the most important thing to me right now. Right, when it's doing this. Any questions, guys? You went short. Nice. Yeah, we're trading on the Nasdaq. Well, M and Q to be specific. The thing about, like I said, guys, just to keep reiterating, you know, I know we're almost 10:30 and 10:40 I like to jump into questions so we get on time to our development session. But again, what makes all-time highs tricky, guys, is we had a crazy amount of bullish pressure to get to the all-time high. So for us to have just a healthy pullback and then go for another one, I've seen it happen many, many times, right? The other thing that happens is if the market wants to drop, because everybody and their mama is trying to short this, market makers a lot of times won't let it go. And you're going to see those like drop, 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 sweep, drop, 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 sweep, drop, 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 sweep. And they're just beating the bears into submission to just cause hesitation, right? Like, maybe I won't short this. And then that's when they'll let it go. So, but let's just keep watching. See that DOM jump north there? Again, in this type of setup, right? Why not go down? Ooh, look at that. This is going to be a big one. See the DOM jump on it? If that sweeps and absorbs down, whew, that was the stop hunt, guys. Oh, let's see how this handles. I love seeing that, guys. This is what we teach.
Dang it.
We teach this in the trading course. If you had a stop loss anywhere...
No, I didn't. I was in a long, and it shot up.
Oh,
and I hit close, and then it was negative $10.
It filled you down here?
You got to be kidding me.
Man, so when in our trading courses, guys, I think it's our third lesson, something like that. It talks about these are critical. When you get these big pushes, now you have high, low. For me to see a substantial drop, I want to see a substantial push followed by an absorption like that, right? Because those usually are stop hunt. Now, I don't know if that's quite the stop hunt that I would call a stop hunt because we didn't really get above technicals that I'd want to see. I'd want to see that come up here, then absorb. The fact that it hit there and absorb is, you know, it's still a reversal type candle setup, but we got to get a close below before it's validated, right? See on the one? And we saw on the way up to here how many of these, and then it would look like it's going to go and then just go the other way, right? So, like I was saying, the old market makers don't want to let it go, man. I don't know if that was them in general, but somebody bought something when it started to come down. They said, nope. We're going back up. So let's just watch the pressure. Very tricky area, guys. Absolutely very tricky area.
It don't know where it wants to go, does it?
Mm-mm. Nope.
Too slow.
Well, this is why I keep telling y'all, be careful, guys, because it's setting up a pretty big move, I think, here soon. But see this prior low here? This is everything to me, right? Because if we keep sweeping and dropping, then that's respecting that low. But if we sweep it above and we hold, again, like I said, is a pretty good bear trap, right? Because they're going to shake out those people that are trying to short it right now. So just keep watching the DOM. Let's see what that does. We are approaching really good levels. Based on what this did, aside from that candle, right, this has the strength to breach wick that. The close above, we're OA, right? Anything short of that, if we come back and breach wick south, right, because we're still internal, we want to close below that. That's going to be our kind of our tall tale of we about to drop. Let me watch this. Steven, you forgot me up. Now you're starting to sound like Neo, throwing out the analogies. It's like a car sitting in the parking lot. If you go forward or backwards, you're going to hit something. That one just made me laugh, Cody. Wait, were you on when he said that one? I'm like, you cracked me up. I know.
I heard him say something about traffic jam one time, yeah.
Yeah. Alex was pushing something last night to Neo, and I think he might still be working on him because we tried to force him on, and there's a platform. Yeah, it's called Neo Trade Algo. His name's Neo. He tells you all you need to know about trading. So we'll go ahead and block you because they don't need it. We got Neo. Neo kicks the crap out of all your stuff because he's AI. Bye bye now.
I'm gonna have to step away for a second after that.
Oh yeah. Guys, this is Neo. He is sleeping. Alex pushed some really cool updates, and it's not letting me force him on. He's not supposed to wake up until 1, so that's why we don't have Neo this morning. So I know we crushed all your guys' hopes and dreams and souls, and I'm gonna have pickets out in my front yard. Where's Neo? Bring back Neo. Guys, I cannot wait. What time is it? 10:30. And we still have some time. I'm just waiting for this to do something here. I'll show you what I'm looking for. So this is what I want to watch. Right now, again, we're showing strength. We're still internal until we breach this close above. If we close above that, you might want to be ready to close out or play defensively if you're trying to ladder short, right? Anything below this, though, is all just nasty resistance. Now, in all fairness, this is just a break, hold, higher, low, hammer, sweep. We get a close above. It would come up, tap that, and that could still reject us pretty hard, right? Not even sure we'll get up there. See how we're rejecting pretty good right off the prior data eye. So we have a breach wick here. That should have enough to breach wick there. Rear back, close below, and then that would bring it to there. Right? That would tell me that the bears are still there. Right? The bulls aren't just running shop. So I just want to see that the bulls are still here. That's all I care about right now. Are the bulls still in town? Or the bears? So exciting news on Neo. One, I was able to, Alex was able to create a portal to Neo through what I'm already able to talk to him about. And I can force feed him some high time frame lines. Now, why I'm doing that is because it's that, or we wait for the next 6 months while he identifies which levels are great, right? And so I would rather force feed him some of these things if I can do it. And so we figured out a way to do that. He was doing it yesterday, and so it's awesome. The mentor group and myself went through and developed a pretty tight array of lines. You can kind of get a quick glimpse there. Pretty tight array, right? And so we were going to send that to him so he understands all those levels are important as we're approaching them. Really cool just to see him grow and do his things. It's funny, like even the portal for me to talk to. So I told him, because he made one mistake, if y'all remember, he claimed that we were going to hold above the 5-minute 200 EMA, but he was concerned about resistance. And I'm like, that's not resistance, buddy. So I had to send some logic to him yesterday to explain that. And so the way Alex has it is when I send something to him, kind of like we do with our kids, right? He's going to generate a response on how he interpreted it. That way I make sure he understands what I'm trying to say. And so his interpretation he came back with was saying this was related to price, position. No, not that one, sorry. Support, resistance, and logic. When the current price is lower than an indicator's value, the indicator must be classified as a potential resistance. When the current price is higher than an indicator's value, it must be classified as potential support. Never define an overhead level of support or as support or an underlying level as resistance. That's how he read it back to me. I'm like, cool. Because remember I told you in the beginning, I would tell him things and then he wouldn't really do it. And I kept saying, terrible twos, this kid ain't listening. And so that's when Alex was like, what if I take what you did and have him interpret it back, right? And it's funny because some things like this, like we're both parents, right? Isn't it so funny, the correlation to kids? Like how many times y'all do that with your kids where you're like, repeat back to me what I said? Right? Tell me what I said, just so I make sure you know what I said. And I feel like that's what we're doing with him. It's like literally raising a child. It's hilarious. So, the other exciting news is that the trading algo AI add-on, that is our project we're working on now because it's not taking as long. We mostly have he understands and has the technology to build that one already, right? So we don't need to wait for that one. What that's going to be is going to be really cool, is that we will create conditions within our indicators that you can apply to your own trading view, and you can send an alert when that condition is met. And then it will go to a dashboard, which will be likely in here, and Neo will get it because you're sending it to him, and immediately send back a response of, see that you sent me a indicator or whatever condition. Here's my concerns. Here's the reasoning I think it will play out, and here's the percentage probability I think it will work. Right? So when we are sitting here, I love that, because when we are sitting here going, oh yeah, breach wick, boom, close above, I'm in. If that is a condition that I have within an indicator, it will alert the moment that candle closes, and instantly he's going to tell me this is a good one, right? And so it's a way for him to interpret indicators. Because how many times you guys have rules that you build within an indicator, or a buy-sell signal you build within an indicator? They're not all the same. Some play out, some don't, right? And so now we're going to have Neo be able to interpret it for you and determine which ones will play out likely and which ones won't. Guys, we're squeezing the upper critical area, right? Now, here's the thing, like I was saying earlier, my concern when we were here is that I didn't think we were going to fall to the floor. I thought we'd at least get to there. We didn't. Pushed up. The fact that we were reclaiming 64, kind of trying to reclaim this 82, or, if we reclaim all these lows, right, that's going to give a pretty good push. If that push breaks this prior high with steam, it should breach wick that if it wants to just blow up, right? But if it pushes here and we absorb back, probably send them a bull trap, like I said. So all-time highs are tricky. They're going to trap bulls, they're going to trap bears, they're going to send it up, they're going to send it down. This is the greatest area for market makers to mess up everybody, because the bulls are like, we're going to the moon, and then the bears see this, they're like, we're going to the floor. Everybody out there is drooling because all they see is bears. Oh yeah, we're going to there. Boom, setting a TP. I'm gonna have a $15,000 day. And then bulls going, nope. Hey, we've been pushing like crazy. This is just a pullback. Look, we're closing above. We're going to the moon, and then you get the ridiculous TikTokers. We're going up here, and it nobody really knows, right? That's the thing. Like, nobody knows. I don't know. But I know there's things we can look at, right, to kind of tell us signs, and that's the micro. I'm going to throw a line here just to have some kind of macro. I mean, I really don't, I don't know. I don't like that line, but we're going to put it there anyways. Got it there, cut that wick a little bit, and I'm obviously cutting this wick, but there's a lot of tops here that line up. So I'm just going to put it there for now and just see how it's respected. We can't even break the uptrend of a micro right now. So the bears are definitely not in control yet. We don't really have confluence until way up here. So really all we can go by is how is it treating the prior day high? How is it treating the prior all-time high? How is it treating things that should be resistance, right? So we know we hit here, we breach wicked it, we have a doji, close below will signal some weakness. These are the hammers I was saying that didn't really make sense. If we wanted to drop, why are we getting hammers? We did get our kind of absorption wick, and we did get the close above. Now it didn't explode, but we also have the 200 there. We got the breach wick, close below there should push us down. We can still come to here and still explode north, right? Because that would be a push, halfway, push, if you will. So, guys, if you're on TikTok as well, we are in a Google Meet, and anybody can come in this, so you have real-time data. See, there's the Google Meet. All you do, register nextstepalgo.com, and then you click on the open session right here, the one that's green, and then it just takes you to the Google Meet if you'd like to come in. So, normally we have Neo by our side, but Neo is in for some upgrades now. We're updated his data. There's old Neo. He's hiding in the background. And Alex should be on here. Nope, he's already on. He's texting. Hold on. Let me look. He was checking to make sure we weren't using him. And I'm like, nope, not using him because I'm pretty sure his ass is still sleeping. Let me look. Yeah, he's still sleeping. He's taking a little nap. Alright guys, let's continue to look. So again, we are in the same range that we had a nice little head and shoulders that played out last time. This is going to be a big one for me because if this one plays out, we have a pretty good top, right? Pretty good resistance. We might just range up here, oscillate. This one's kind of pretty, so if this one just goes north out of nowhere, then they just did a double bearish pattern to trap the bears and then and then destroy them, right? So okay. Hold on, I gotta type to Alex. He's just checking. He's like, can I turn him on to try it? So he's going to turn him on, but we're not going to bring him over and use him because he's going to turn him on and off and on and off. He's testing him for the indicator thing, right? Because he's basically feeding him data. And so he didn't want him on doing other things while he's feeding him that data, I guess, or something. So, took our toy away. That's all I heard. Right, guys? He took my toy away. Questions, guys? It's 10:40.
No, not really. Just a very choppy day. Um, that's really it. No real clear direction.
Yeah, so far it's kind of been a day that I told you it would likely be, right? Which is not a great day. I mean, it's an oscillating day. If you're laddering or you're top and bottom, right, you kind of did well, but you probably didn't have the balls to do all the top and bottom because you just don't know, right? But look at this, guys. Going up against a prior day high and all these resistances, we are creating hammers after the micro trend broke. Like, they just shouldn't be hammers there, right? Closed above, we got the breach wick. This breach wick has to create a higher high. Anything that fails from that comes down breach wicks there is going to collapse pretty fast because then it'll be a prior day loss, right? It looks to me like the DOM so far is trying to tap on top of this, which would be a tap on top of the prior day high, which is not great for the drop, right? To me, it looks like the Bulls are a little more in control than the Bears, just from a order flow. The DOM, when I see in the corner of my eye. But these things still got to happen, or things can turn very quickly. If you remember when it was coming up, I was kind of expecting them to set the bear trap, bring it back up, set the bull trap, right? And then bring it back down, and then, maybe bring this up a bit, and then bring it back down, and then kind of stay internal while they decide what they want to do. Is usually what they like to do. But yeah, like I said, guys, many times in my career, I have tried to force feed around all-time highs, chased it, overtraded it. I'm like, what better time to short on an all-time high, or what better time to take the blow off top than an all-time high, right? You get big moves, violent moves. It can be great when you're right, but it can be really bad when you're wrong. And so, not something you want to overtrade. So if you're green, you got some days in, you got your 150. Take the win, guys. Take the win. Not the best range to play. So, historically in my data even, it's not been the best days to play for me. So that's why I'm not eager. I have a few that I'm kind of laddering through it, but I'm excited to say that my 2 lucids, I got my last, 150 I needed on that, so I'm done with those. I will be able to request a payout at like 520, which would be like 3,600, so I will take it. See how we're getting the push, guys. It's expected. Well, remember what I was telling you guys? This is why, isn't it funny how this works out on the ask questions, right? And this is why you can't do the same thing all the time, right? We took the diamond, short, great. Got the head and shoulders with the sweep, short, great. Comes back up. Remember, I was just saying that. I would not be surprised if they don't set up another head and shoulders that they invalidate. Isn't it funny how that worked out? I didn't trade it, but I just think it's cool to see that, right? And that's how, put a thumbs up. I'd be curious who would get caught on something like that, right? Where you're like, all-time high, top, resistance, here we go. Head and shoulders, did it last time, right? We would short that, right? And that's why they trap you. So, good deal. Any questions, guys? Want to share P&Ls in the chat, or you can put them in the other chat. Brent, can you see the chat now? I had Alex do that last night. He was up pretty late.
I haven't checked yet this morning. Thank you, though.
Okay. Yeah, just take a look. Yeah, the whole point of this, when we decided to do this chat, we did it because I don't want to use Discord, because I think that your safety is super important, and Discord is full of just scammers, and so we built this. So if I'm gonna stay true to that, I don't want bots, trolls, and scammers in here. I want people that either have subscriptions of some sort or pay like $5, something, right? Just so that way you're not in here just spamming it. And so with everything we got going on, Alex interpreted that as development program, VIP mentor, right? But then I cleared that up. But he's got so much that he's doing, that guy. And so that's why I was like, let me text him, because he's gonna forget. And he's
I
like,
can see it now. Thank you.
yeah, good deal. He's like, let me check. So, but see how we're getting this, guys. Now let's look at this. This is what I'm curious about. This is why we look at multi-time frame. We are coming up against a possible macro trend line, right? Now you can see we breached wicked it a little bit, but I'm going to adjust it just a hair, and I'm going to grab that wick. I'm not going to grab this one because it significantly changes it until we break it. So we know there's a chance that somewhere around 24.20 that we could get a pretty decent pull. Now, You got to ask yourself though. Remember, we always ask our questions. Here's our low. We held the low. We dropped, swept it. Kind of got wicky here. Created our kind of hammer into inverted hammer. Here's our high. Here's our low, and it's testing that right now. We reclaimed in an area that should have just like there was just like nothing holding this up, guys. And we reclaimed this with ease, right, through the micro, and we kind of saw that coming. And so there's a chance, right, that we can push this to create a higher high within here, retesting these highs, right, and then that would try to reject or blow off top it, and then reject, and then keep us internal, right? But it's got to break above at least this. Arguably, because of that one wick, it would be more like that, but I don't want to base it on that yet until I see how this move that's going right now works.
Quick question, does anyone else have a candle, complete candle missing from their chart right at market open on a 1 minute, on the 1 minute chart? It's not significant, but I'm just curious.
I haven't seen that. No, but
Weird, because on my 15-second, it shows where the ORB was set with the very first 15 seconds of the day, and then I go to my 1 minute, and that 9:30 candle is just missing from my 1 minute chart. It's just a big empty spot. Weird.
Interesting. See how we're hitting this line? That tells me it's pretty viable because I can see the micro is responding to it, right? Doesn't mean it's not going to break it. It just means that it at least is responding to it. That tells me that this line is not bad, right, so far. So we are dojiing. We know that this macro is likely going to have pretty good strength, so it should start to show some bearishness within the micro. If it doesn't, and we keep getting hammers, dom jumps, whatever, we about to pop. This was a absolute bear trap, and it's about to pop, right? So let's just watch and see. I would prefer we dojied here, close below the doji, because that would give us some pretty decent steam, right? Because we would re-break that, but let's just see. So we're still getting a little strength on the micro. Y'all see that? Let's just see where we go. We got a little resistance called in here on the indicator. A lot of tops there. So this is going to be a pretty critical area here with 26. What do we got? 8 minutes. Guys, we need to go to our development session, so I'm going to cut this here soon. If there's any questions, please ask. If you want to join the development session, you can. Just got to go to the website, click on the development program, and you can join in that. And then once I end this one will light up green, and we'll be in there trading. I'm not live on TikTok or any socials on that because that is for the people that are in that program. Those that are in the program, or let's say you're thinking about it, we do have a development program video library that we have created. It will slowly begin to grow. I have the actual sessions that we do, the coaching sessions, the afternoon sessions, etc. The coaching sessions, I'm going to try to title them to what they are. I got to look this one up, but this one was when we did the live trading. This was yesterday when we did the all-time high and how to trade it. So if you guys are interested in join in there.